It was an offseason that we will all remember. And in the final season of the Pac-12 as we know it, comes season 3 of the It Factory. It will be full of players that are on preseason watch lists, will be on future NFL draft lists. As always, we will take the helmet off of the top players on the West Coast and tap into who they are and why they stand out. I'm Yogi Roth, and welcome back to the It Factory. Welcome back, or welcome to the It Factory. I am your host, Yogi Roth, and here we are towards the end of September, talking stories of a lot of quarterbacks on, but we had to flip it to the defensive side for this week's guest. It's the captain, it's the transfer from the Big 12 in Oklahoma State, and one of the leaders for the USC Trojans, Mason Cobb, an absolute ball hawk at linebacker, a leader, extremely thoughtful. I absolutely loved getting to know him in advance of the season, calling their first couple games of the season, and watching him play. Take a listen to one of the top linebackers in the country, Mason Cobb. And with that, Mason Cobb joins us. Mason, thanks for joining the show, man. Really looking forward to dive into your story. Thank you for taking the time.
Man, of course, man. It's an honor to speak with you guys.
Yes. Well, back at you. Okay, so I want to start in the very beginning for you because as I've learned about you, had a chance to spend some time with you at Media Days where you look amazing, by the way.
Thank you. Had to put it on.
Youngest of 6. Yes, youngest of 6.
I got a little brother, so I'm the second youngest. Okay. But they call me the baby because I was spoiled, but I was a good kid, so that's why I was spoiled.
Oh, I like that. All right, so take me through what that dynamic was like for you growing up.
Man, it was, growing up with 5 brothers in the house, it was hectic. I had a stepsister that, didn't grow up with us, so it was just a bunch of boys in the house causing havoc, getting in fights, playing video games, breaking holes in the wall. Yeah, man, I had to, growing up, I was always outside playing around, never really got into video games. So, growing up, it was always outside with my brothers or, playing sports.
I love that. I got 2 boys, and we have yet to have holes in the wall, but it's pretty close. Like, they're just a little too small.
Yeah, I get to a certain age, man. Expect the holes to come.
Yeah, expect the holes to come. We just got drawings all over our
house. That's a younger thing, for sure.
Yeah, that's a younger thing. What were the archetypes like? Like, did somebody take on the role of leader, of fighter, of competitor, of the quiet one? And if so, what was yours?
Yeah, I mean, my older brothers, they kind of led us. But, as a younger brother, I was always trying to compete against them. So I would say, the competitiveness, came from me as a brother. I was always trying to play them in basketball, whether that be football, just trying to compete in any way just to, beat my older brothers. And there's a big gap between me and the second oldest, or the one that's closest to me. It's like 7 years. So growing up, I was, me and my little brother kind of did our own thing, and those guys did their own thing. But, I'd always go hoop with them or play football with them. So growing up, man, I was a competitor, and that's kind of how I got it to translate to the field.
Was there ever a moment where you were like, okay, I have what it takes to compete at higher levels based on what you saw with your brothers? Right.
So my brothers, they all played football. One with JUCO, the other one went to Dixie State in Utah. And my other brother played rugby for a Utah team. So, seeing those guys succeed, man, I took a lot from them, good and bad, and kind of made it into, what I did in high school and try to stay on the straight path. And, eventually I figured out that I could play college football not until my junior year, like the end of my junior year going into my senior year. And very under-recruited. I didn't think that I was getting enough love. So, that junior year was a little tough for me. So senior year is when offers started rolling in. But still, man, I was very late to camps and, didn't really understand the whole recruiting process. So I got a little late jump on that, but.
Yeah, well, hey, you got a late jump, but you're rolling now, man.
Right. I'm
with that. What's Provo like?
Provo's beautiful, man. Growing up, it's I wouldn't say smaller town, but a lot of people know each other, a lot of families, a lot of Polynesian families out there. But man, growing up in Provo, man, always hiking, swimming, man, just hanging out with the dudes. There wasn't much to do, but I loved being outside. I loved being in nature. So yeah, that's, man, most beautiful place if y'all want to visit.
Yeah, no, we love going there. And it's in the backdrop of obviously a school that's got great history.
Hmm.
For you, was it a dream to play there? And eventually, what led you to your first stop in college, which was Oklahoma State?
I never really, had a dream to play at BYU. I went to a lot of games growing up. My dad was a fan, but I was more of a Utah fan growing up. That was my, school I wanted to go to. But I did want to leave, Provo and kind of explore other states and, kind of grew up on my own. So that's kind of how I ended up in Oklahoma.
Was there an eye always kind of back to this conference?
Nah, I mean, it was never my intention to, choose the Pac-12. I wanted to play SEC football, be a, downhill linebacker, kind of play the game that I do. So, when this opportunity presented itself, man, it kind of, took me by storm, but man, it's been nothing but, right. The feeling on my visit, the, feeling after I left, man, me and my dad on the plane, man, we knew where I was going. Didn't even have to talk about it, so.
Yeah, what is that like? We hear from a lot of the transfers that come in. They say
Right.
it's a feeling when you're around Lincoln Riley, when you're around the staff, you're around the players on the roster. Take us into that for someone who's lived it.
Man, it's, they're not very flashy, I would say. They want to, show you all the things that could, help you pursue the NFL career that you want to, pursue. So them, it was just genuine, man. Everything they were saying was genuine. They weren't trying to sell me a story. They're like, man, we're going to put you in a position, and it's really up to you. And I think that's the most important thing is, coaches, putting their trust in you and, the story they were telling me about, what I could do and, the limit that I could reach, man. At USC, I feel like, they do a great job of pushing guys to their limits. And, that's been the culture here at USC for forever.
For you, when you were in the portal, because I feel like there's a lot of sales jobs that go on, and you always read about how fast it goes.
Right. It's
how
quick.
are you able to differentiate story, reality, hype from one another to make a clear and conscious decision?
I really think for me, I maybe had a week to make my decision and go on visits and move in. So, man, it was crazy. It was so fast compared to, high school recruiting. Those guys were very, straight to the point, didn't play no games, talked about, if you want to win the national championship, this is where you need to be. And for me, man, that's, growing up and just playing D1 football, man, that's the dream. And, I have an opportunity to do that here and, why not? It was a no-brainer.
Yeah, why not indeed, man. A lot of people say that when they check out the West Coast and SC for the first time. You've been here now for a few months, right? You went through spring ball. Your presence was felt. You represented, as I said earlier, the team at media days, a month or so ago. For you, is reality at SC what you expected it to be when you were on that plane talking to your father?
It's kind of crazy to say, but man, that all my manifestations, all the things I've spoken to existence with my dad, the goals I wanted to reach, and man, I'm just seeing it play out, and it's surreal, man. I'm living the dream, for real.
All right, so talk to me about manifestation. It's one of my favorite words. Like,
Right.
Are you into that, or are you a
Yeah,
meditator?
of course. I'm very, intuitive. I meditate all the time. Either that would be painting, just put some music on and paint, or I like to burn on wood too. So that's a way for me to unplug from football. But yeah, man, speaking stuff into existence. You say it all the time. It becomes true. And I believe that, man, with my whole heart. I've been doing that for, the past 2 years, and it's kind of elevated my game, my mental state, all that stuff. So,
where did you first get exposed to the creative arts and utilizing your hands to process life?
my mom, growing up, we didn't do much. We didn't have much money, so I remember we used to go to the Boys and Girls Club, and they'd always throw out like all the good coloring books, and that's where I kind of fell in love with art, and it was a time for me to like quiet my mind and unplug from stuff that was happening, in real life.
Where did the wood burning come into effect? Because I've read about that with you.
I really think I got it from my uncle, my Uncle Joe, my dad's brother, or my mom's brother. Man, since a kid, he's been burning, tribal on wood and drums, and that the smell of wood burning is one of my favorite things. So, it's like, I wouldn't say it's like painting, but the strokes have to be slow and precise. So, that's kind of how I play football. you know, it's kind of crazy how it all translates, but man, I love just to burn on wood and smell that wood and kind of just stroke the, you know, the wood, and it's just like a process, and I love it.
Hey, so what is it? I mean, for those of us that have no clue what wood burning even
I
is.
don't know how to explain it, but there's like I would say it's like a tattoo gun almost, and there's like a tip and it heats up, but there's like multiple tips you can put on there, and really you can get any piece of wood. You know, my mom went to the Goodwill in Oklahoma and got a bunch of like pizza, you know, the pizza pie things, and man, I just, you know, just go to town, just, you know, whatever I feel like doing on the wood I do.
What are you most proud of, or what's the piece? If you're going to put up the gallery of Mason Cobb at SC, what would be in there?
I don't think I've made it yet. I did make, you know, a 0 for Oklahoma State last year. That's one of my favorite pieces. So, you know, at this time, that's probably my favorite one.
I love that. All right, so take us through, like, you correlated meditation and wood burning and arts with how you play.
Right.
Drop down into that a little bit more for me.
I would say, you know, the wood burning part, you know, it takes a lot of time. You know, it's not something that's fast. You can't just take a pencil and make a line. You gotta, you know, a line might take 15, 20 seconds. So, man, it's tedious. You gotta be, you know, steady hand, you know, focus, and you can't make mistakes. So kind of, you know, translating that to the game, that's how I like to play. I like to be calm, collective, and then when I need to strike, you know, that line's gonna be, you know, straight as possible.
That's incredible, because, like, you know, I've interviewed hundreds of players on this show, and defensive players don't necessarily start with calm.
Yeah, no,
You know?
Odom was like, man, why, like, you know, why aren't you crazy? Linebackers are supposed to be crazy. I would say I got controlled aggression. You know, there's times where I can, you know, get a little crazy, you know, on the field, but yeah, man, I you know, I watched Luke Kuechly's videos, and, you know, he was a maniac on the field. But, you know, behind closed doors and outside of football, he was, you know, a calm person that did his business. So I would say, you know, I'm kind of like that in a way.
Yeah. Fun fact: Luke Kuechly used to train in the summers in the gym that you're training in right now. So,
Yeah, I hope I run into him, because I got some questions for him.
yeah, I heard that. I think he's coaching his kids' youth Pop Warner team now. So
Hey, I could show up and help out.
I want to keep going though on defense though.
Okay,
For you.
yeah.
You know, we all know what the numbers said, especially late in the season. This team seemed to be worn down or didn't have the competitive depth that it has now. What have you noticed? What have you heard for a guy who hasn't been there? And then how are you utilizing your role as one of the faces of this team to flip this script and take this team to the next step?
Man, you know, the coaches are always talking about the longer it goes, the better it gets. And I think that's something that, you know, the way my college career has gone, that's kind of how it's been for me. You know, I've always been taught to finish things, to never quit, and give everything I have. That's, you know, that's how my parents raised me. So, you know, trying to instill that in the boys and my teammates, and kind of show them, like, hey man, like, this is where it gets rough, but we got, you know, we're doing this together, and, you know, this is kind of the breakthrough. You know, if you push through and you think you can't, man, that's how you break your mind and strengthen it. So, you know, this off season has been one of those things where we just need to, you know, dominate. And when practice gets longer, that's when we need to get better. And that's what we've been focusing on, you know, speaking it, you know, manifesting it, really.
I love that you keep coming back to that. We used to talk about this a lot back in the day at SC with Coach Carroll, which was like, a team, there's a difference between hoping and knowing. Right. Hoping would be like, God, I hope it goes well. I hope we play well.
No, you don't use those words, man.
Like, yeah, you get it. So where do you think the team sits now on that scale of hoping versus knowing on the defensive side?
I would say it's more of a, you know, we got to stay healthy. I think that's what the hope is. But the know, man, we know what we can do. You know, our goal is everything. I said it at Pac-12 Media. You know, and there's no, you know, lower standard than that. We're not settling for anything. You know, I said that, you know, I really stand on that. I think the guys believe it. But man, hope is, you know, a word that we wouldn't use, you know, for that.
I know when you walk to practice, you walk and see that All-American wall.
Yeah.
When you were told you were going to represent your team at media days, to me that signified something much larger than just doing interviews. What did it signify for you, and what do you think your role is within this team now?
For me, it just, you know, it felt like I was in a position that, the coaches trusted me to lead the guys, and that's the ultimate, pat on the back. So for me, it just, gave me a boost of, maybe I need to, be more vocal. I talked to Coach Riley. He wanted me to be more vocal. I'm not really a big, speech guy, but, I like to lead by example and bring guys with me. So just working on my vocal, just the teammates and trying to get them going, that's something I've been working on.
I love that. The camera's going to be nice and tight on you when we're broadcasting your games, watching you bark out orders to the fellas.
Yeah.
I'm curious for now, in college football, you lived just a wild era.
Right.
From not really getting recruited to going to one school and thriving to going to the portal and now coming here to LA. Amid that, there's been a lot of changes from a governance standpoint, right? NIL being one of them.
Right.
SC, I feel like, always gets a lot of dialogue around those three letters. What did you notice about the culture around NIL and even the financial chemistry within the locker room, if there is one to be discussed?
Man, NIL, I didn't have much of a experience at Oklahoma State with it. But, in the portal is kind of when that stuff started coming to fruition. Kind of learning a lot more about it and talking to agencies and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say it's a problem at all. I don't think, we don't really talk about it. Guys just coming in to work. I don't think, that's something that, matters at the end of the day. We're all here for the same goal. It's nice to, be able to take care of your family and, not have to worry about things. But, at the end of the day, we're all playing for, one goal. And, I think everyone understands that. And, it's not really a topic of concern.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think I asked that question because I think that it's a misnomer in college athletics and even high school athletics where all guys are focused on is the bag. And I think that the players I talk to and the coaches I talk to, like, their team chemistry is phenomenal. And that's just a headline for the era that we're in college football, but it's not a headline for the locker room and the team chemistry. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think it affects anything. If anything, people joke about it. To teammates and calling them, what's up, big money, just stuff like that. It's cool to see. But yeah, man, no tension at all.
I love that. You guys are gonna have some tension with 9 straight to end this season.
Yeah.
Have you talked about that? You reference competitive depth. Yeah.
No, we talk about it every day. Coach Grinch always says, we got a long season ahead of us. If you think you're sore now, man, you got to push through and understand we got, maybe 15 more weeks. So, yeah, man, just that the longer we go, the better we get. We just got to keep pushing that in and, getting guys to believe it and speak it.
I love that phrase. The longer we go, the better we get. The guy who's only been there for a short period of time is Taka Curtis. And the guy who's played for a long period of time is Shane Lee.
Right.
You got Eric Gentry in between.
Mm-hmm.
What has your meeting room been like with the collection of new faces, old faces for you?
Oh, man, I think, we're changing Odom a little bit. He's opening up a little bit. He's kind of a tough, angry guy, if you want to call him. But, we make fun of him and joke around with him. So, I think the group has grown a lot better. Odom's kind of opening up and, appreciating us for pushing him and making him better. So, man, the camaraderie in that room, I love all those guys, man. Great dudes.
Yeah, Coach Odom, one of the greats at the position in the entire country.
Yeah.
How about Anthony Lucas? What have you learned from him, another transfer player who came in with a lot of hype, much like yourself? Oh,
man, great kid. He comes in and does the work, man. He's, even just walking the meetings, he's working on his D-line pass rush moves, going against, walking across. I might walk past him, he might do a move on me, but that guy's, he's obsessed with football, and, it's good to be around guys like that. Man, he's always teaching me moves and helping me with my pass rush. So, that kid's talented, man. He's so young. The kid's only 18.
Only 18, to be that big at that age.
Wild.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Let's talk about unbelievable. I'm a guy who didn't grow up in LA, much like yourself, but I haven't left since I touched down about 20 years ago. For you, when you got into Southern California and you walked that campus or you walked the Santa Monica Promenade or the boardwalk, like, are there times where you've stopped and paused and said, wow, like, I'm in Los Angeles?
Every day I do that. Every day I'm just like, man, I'm in LA. Like, I was just in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Yeah, man, it's amazing. When I first came out here, when I moved here, it was really rainy. So people were like, man, the weather's, never been like this. And I've been waiting for sunny days. And when they came, man, I was at the beach every day. I went to the beach, I think, the first week I got here, and it was like 65 degrees, and I was in the water swimming. The freezing cold
Which
water.
beach you go to?
Santa Monica.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
gotta make your way down to Venice Beach, man.
Oh yeah, I've been to
check it
Malibu.
out.
I really like Malibu. Gotten there, I think the most.
Have you gotten up on a board yet? Have you tried?
Nah, I
water
haven't tried surfing yet. I'm a body surfer. I've done that a couple of times, but yeah, I do want to learn snowboarding. I do, or surfing. Sorry.
Hey, you know you could do it in the off season. Same day, you can hit the mountains and the water.
I want to try that for sure.
I love that. I love that. All right. Well, I called this the final five before we get you out of here, man. Final five questions. First thought that comes to mind. Give me your best answer. In your life, Mason Cobb, what is the best advice you've ever received?
Trust yourself. Don't compare yourself to anybody else, and you can do anything you want to do.
Who gave you that?
My mom. Yeah, but I think that's she's always only you wake up and look in the mirror. Only you make the decision to put that little extra work in. No one's gonna push you. No one's gonna be there. When you go to sleep, you're the only man that that knows your true worth and true effort and all that stuff. So,
Worst advice you've ever received?
I think worst advice is, I don't know if I've had some bad advice. I take everything, as good or bad and kind of, twist it in the way I want it. I can't really, think of anything that was bad advice. Off top, no, I can't.
That's good. Hey, that means you're manifesting, right?
Yeah.
You're seeing
only
life
positive,
as
only positive vibes, man.
I love that. I love that. You referenced your mom a few times. Curious for question number 3, how would you describe her role in your life now, and what do you hope that you make her feel when she's around you or observes you even from afar?
Oh man, you're gonna make me cry. Man, my mom's been my rock since I was a kid, and she raised me to the man I am today. And at this point now, I don't need much guidance from her, and she kind of allows me to do my own thing. But I've learned so much from her, and she even reaches out to me and tells me how much of an inspiration I am to her. Man, it's that's one of the best feelings, man. To make your parents proud. But yeah, my parents, my dad too, sacrificed a lot for me to be. Sorry, just sitting right here in this chair.
Yeah, don't be sorry. I mean, that's beautiful. To be blunt, Mason. What specifically do you think she instilled?
I would just say that, the will to never give up, to push and, see the end of, the light of the rainbow, at the end of the storm.
Have you guys been in storms before? Number 4, the title of this show is The It Factory. And I believe that the it factor as a phrase is the most overused and undefinable phrase in all of sport. But when you see it, God, you know it. You have it. I came to your first spring practice. You could tell the way you carried yourself, and I've tracked it ever since. I know you have it, but I'm curious how you might describe it in yourself, or even how your mom might describe it when she sees you.
She calls me a warrior. But yeah, man, what I do is it's a war every day. I'm going out, fight for my family every day.
Yeah, that's that tattoo, right?
Yeah,
over everything.
That's it. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Okay, finally, you've been through a lot in your life. We've touched on some of that. And when you look at your path and where you sit today, I'm curious how you'd finish the following sentence. It all comes down to what?
To me. It's all in my hands. I'm in a great place, that can, put me where I want to be, and, the decisions and the ball's in my hand.
Yeah, I heard that. I bet that makes anyone around you extremely confident to be just a part of your team or your family, man. Mason, I've wanted to talk to you for a long time in this setting. I'm really appreciative of your time and your vulnerability, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
A small sliver of your story.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
You got it. There it is. Mason Cobb, star linebacker at USC, but a man who's got much more to his story than just attacking the football as an incredible linebacker. Mason Cobb, appreciate the vulnerability, the insight into his journey, his family's path, and his role within that. That's the greatest joy of this podcast and this platform, is taking the helmet off these young men in a transitional time, which is college, sometimes their second college like Mason Cobb, and learning about the entirety of their journey or the impactful moments along their path. And really thankful for Mason Cobb to share his. As always, share this show with a friend. If you want to watch it, go to just Pac-12 YouTube's channel or pac-12.com/insider.